Hello everyone, I welcome you all back in our classes online. We are still in Unit 7 in our book Bridge to Success, Grade 7, Health, Food and Exercise. We are going to continue and present and explain all the course book and workbook activities related to Lesson 2, A Balanced Diet. I hope you will enjoy the class. And if you are ready, let's start. First, let's have a look at the key vocabulary that we are going to focus on in this class. Please have a look at this list of words. And also I have chosen some photos to help you. Balanced diet. What do you mean by balanced diet? The diet that contains different kinds of food in certain quantities and proportions to keep us healthy. Vegetables. Here, a photo of many types of vegetables: cucumbers, onions, eggplants, carrots. And also we have eggs, nuts. Here we can see nuts, fruit, all types of fruit: mango, strawberry, banana, oranges. I'm sure that you know a lot of fruit. Sugar, meat, tea, coffee. Vegetarian. Who is a vegetarian person? Vegetarian is someone who doesn't eat any meat at all or any byproducts of animal slaughter. So vegetarian people don't eat meat. They only eat vegetables and fruit. They don't even eat fish. Starchy. Starchy food are all the types of food that full of carbohydrates. Examples: corn, potatoes, rice, bread, pasta. And starchy food make up over a third of the food we eat daily. Nutrients. Nutrients are all the substances or ingredients that promote growth, provide energy, and maintain life, like vitamins, protein, carbohydrates, fats, minerals. All these are called nutrients. Calcium is one of the minerals that we need for the health of our bones and teeth. Salt. Now we are going to look at a group of words that are called quantifiers. What are quantifiers? quantifiers tell you how many or how much there is of something. Why we call them quantifiers? Because they are added before nouns to give an identification of the quantity of that noun. Quantifiers can be used with countable nouns and uncountable nouns. First, let's differentiate between countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns are words like book, student, egg. They can be singular and also they can be plural. Singular like a book, a student, an egg, or plural like books, students, eggs. These nouns we can count them, but uncountable nouns only have one form. They are only singular, such as music, water, rice. These words we can't count them. We have some quantifiers that can be used only with countable nouns, a few, a large or small number of, several. So we can say a few vegetables, a large number of eggs, several nuts. And also we have some quantifiers that can be used only with uncountable nouns, a little, a large, or a small amount of. We can say a little fruit, a large amount of sugar, or a small amount of fat. And also we have a group of quantifiers that can be used with both countable and uncountable nouns. A lot of, lots of, plenty of. We can say a lot of vegetables. Also we can say a lot of fruit. Both of them are right. We can say plenty of eggs. Also we can say plenty of sugar. Both of them are right. So these quantifiers are the easiest words that you can use them because they can be used with countable and uncountable nouns. A lot of, lots of, and plenty of. Now, my dear students, in activity 3, it's time for us to check together if we can find examples of quantifiers in this dialogue. We are going to read the dialogue and the use of English box and answer this question: how many examples of quantifiers can you find in the dialogue? Do you think you eat a healthy diet? There is no quantifier here. Yes, in the summer I eat lots of salads. And in the winter I eat plenty of green vegetables. Like we mentioned, lots of and plenty of can be used with countable nouns and uncountable nouns. I don't like anything green, so I only eat a small number of vegetables. Here, a small number vegetables, only a small number of is used with uncountable nouns, with countable nouns. Small number of is used with countable nouns, which is vegetable. Do you eat lots of sweets? So lots of. I don't eat sweets. I'm hungry between meals. I have few nuts or some fruit. A few nuts is used with countable because we can count nuts. And the last one, a large amount of. It's used with uncountable nouns, but I do like a little sugar. Little sugar, uncountable nouns. Now we have finished activity 3. Activity 4 in our first book. Do you have a balanced diet? Think about the food you eat every day. Do you eat different kinds of food in certain quantities and proportions every day? We are going to complete these sentences so that they are true for you. Try to complete the sentence about the food you eat every day. I have completed the sentence so that they are true for me. Of course, you are going to change the answers so that the sentence are true for you. For me, on my diet, I eat plenty of fruit and vegetables. I eat plenty of fruit and vegetables every day. I only eat a small amount of pastries. I like pastries, but I don't eat plenty of them. If I'm hungry between meals, I have a few nuts or some fruit. Think about yourselves. What do you eat between meals? I like a little sugar in my tea. What about you? Do you like much sugar in your tea or in your coffee? Do you have much salt in your food? What about oil? For me, I like a little oil on my salad. Also, I like several kinds of fruit. But my favorite fruit is oranges. Think about yourselves and to complete the sentence so that they are true for you. And then you can answer the question, do you have a balanced diet or no? We are going to write the phrases in the correct places in the text. Here we have 8 phrases. Let's read them together. A few of them: a large amount of meat, a little salt, a lot of advice, which is used to complete number 1, a lot of energy, lots of sugar, plenty of fruit, several things. The first sentence: we hear a lot of advice about foods that are good for you and foods that are bad for you. But the truth is that you can include most foods in your diet as long as you get the balance right. So from here we can understand that there is no such thing like good food or bad food. No, all foods are okay, are good, but we should include most foods in our diet in condition that we get a balance right. We get the balance right. How can we get the balance right? By eating most foods but in right proportion and quantities. To get a balanced diet, there are you need to consider. What should we consider to get a balanced diet? We should consider several things. So there are several things you need to consider. Let's start by number 1. So we should write first. First, you need to eat and vegetable. Which phrase can go with and vegetables? If you think about plenty fruit, you are right. First, you need to eat plenty fruit and vegetables. Just think of 5 a day. In other words, you should eat at least 5 portions of fruit and vegetables every day. So it's better to eat 5 portions of fruit and vegetables every day. Now we have finished first. What about second? The second thing we should consider to get a balanced diet. As teenagers, you are all teenagers because your age is between 13 and 19. So we call you teenagers. You are growing. So as long as you are growing, what do you need to grow? Think, what do you need for your bodies to grow? You need, if you think about a lot of energy, you are right. This is why you also need to eat starchy carbohydrates. So to get a lot of energy, you need to eat starchy carbohydrates. Bread, rice, and pasta. Don't go. Here is an advice that these foods or these types of foods you shouldn't eat a lot. Don't go for or fatty things. In carbohydrates, there are 2 types of food you shouldn't go for them, which are lots of sugar or fatty things. So when you eat carbohydrates, please don't go for lots of sugar or fatty things. They don't give you the nutrients you need. Okay, if I will not go for lots of sugar or fatty things, what should I eat? Only eat dry to avoid salty, fatty snacks like crisps. Again, avoid salty, fatty snacks like crisps. Okay, I am going to avoid them. Only eat what? Yes, a few of them. So they are also good foods. We can eat foods that contain sugar or fatty things, but in little amounts. So only eat a few of them. Try to avoid the crisps. In your diet is enough. In your diet is enough. A little salt in your diet is enough. So only use a little salt in your diet. Third, we have finished first. Here, we need to eat plenty of fruit and vegetables. Second, you need carbohydrates because your bodies are growing. You need a lot of energy. In the carbohydrates, don't go for lots of sugar or fatty things because they don't give you the nutrients you need. Only eat a few of them. And here in the text they don't advise you never eat these foods. No, only eat a few of them, but try to avoid the salty or fatty snacks like crisps. Only a little salt in your diet is enough. Now, third, you should eat foods containing calcium. Of course, calcium, we need calcium for the health of our bones and teeth. Either dairy products or dark green vegetables, oranges, almonds, bread. These are all examples to get calcium. Finally, you need 2 to 3 portions of food rich in protein. Yes, we need also in our balanced diet to have 3 portions of foods rich in protein. But you don't need to eat protein, think of meat. Yes, you need 3 portions of foods rich in protein, but you don't need to eat a large amount of meat or fish because you can also find protein in foods such as eggs, nuts, and pulses. So we can find protein in meat and fish. You can eat meat and fish, but not in large amounts because you can find also protein in other foods such as eggs, nuts, and pulses. Now we have finished activity 4 in our workbook. I hope you can complete it in your box and repeat it many times to understand it well. Now let's move to activity 5. After we have read the text in activity 4, we are going to write true or false and then correct the false information using the text in activity 4. Number 1, it's done for you. It's okay if you only eat protein-rich foods. Is it okay if you only eat proteins? False. You need a balanced diet which includes food from all the food groups. It's not okay at all to eat only one type of food for all the time and ignore food from all the other food groups. What about 2? Fruit and vegetables are an important part of our healthy diet. Yes, of course, fruit and vegetables are very important part. So it's true because they give us vitamins and minerals. Teenagers need to eat carbohydrates like we mentioned in the text we have read in activity 4. Carbohydrates are very, very important, especially for teenagers whose age is between 13 and 19. So that's true because teenagers are growing, so they need a lot of energy and they can get this energy from carbohydrates. Teenagers need to eat plenty of sugary foods. Sugary foods to give them energy? No, sugary food are very unhealthy type of foods. If you need energy, you go for carbohydrates. So that's false. They shouldn't go for lots of sugar or fatty things because they don't give them the nutrients they need. They should eat carbohydrates to give them energy. You need a small amount of salt in your diet. we have talked about salt. Little salt is healthy, but a lot amount of salt is unhealthy. But you mustn't have too much. So, as you agree with me, this is true because they don't give us the nutrients we need. We mustn't have too much salt in our food. You can only get calcium from dairy products. Of course, only has made this sentence false because we can get calcium from dairy products, but dairy products are not the only source to get calcium. So that's false. You can get calcium from either dairy products, like we said, we can get calcium from dairy products, or dark green vegetables, oranges, almonds, bread, etc. There are many sources of foods that we can get calcium from. There are several sources of protein for vegetarians. Of course, vegetarians don't eat meat. And we have learned that a very large amount of protein we can find in meat. But what about vegetarians? They don't eat meat or chicken or even fish. How can they get the protein they want? There are several sources. True, there are other sources of proteins for vegetarians. Everybody needs to eat plenty of meat and fish. Plenty of makes this sentence false. Everybody needs to eat meat and fish, but not plenty of meat and fish. False, you don't need to eat a large amount of meat or fish because you can also find protein in foods such as eggs. So vegetarians can eat eggs, can eat nuts, can eat pulses to get whatever they need from these sources to get proteins. Now we have finished activity 5 in our workbooks. Now, my darlings, as we have finished the last activity in our course book and workbook related to lesson 2 in our book, Bridge to Success Grade 7, I hope you have enjoyed the class, and I would like to thank all of you for listening. Please try to complete the activities in your box and see you again. Thank you. Goodbye.